Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining this course today. So firstly, I would like to ask about your interest about the 5 questions. So firstly, Mr. Chen Sang, could you please introduce which question you are interested in?
I'm interested in question 2.
Okay. Could you just
Mm.
explain why simplify?
Because elderly robots can help elderly people
Yes,
to take care of themselves and be beneficial for the elderly.
yes. Okay, thank you. And next, Mr. Zhang Sang, could you please introduce your interest?
Um, I'm also interested in question 2 for several reasons. Firstly, it is fairly interesting that the weak robot not just safe, but also have some emotional implies toward the elders. And the second is actually how to pay attention to what is the weak output these there has not only the physical but also could be the emotional that it's the material didn't mention. And however, I also care about the question 5 as I have an original idea about the domestic robots, and I would do it later when I finished my recent research.
Okay, thank you. Next, Mr. Kuo-san, could you please introduce it?
I'm also intrigued with the question 2. Um, I'm also intrigued about the question 2, how the weak robot help the elders, and I think nowadays there are many interesting designs of the weak robot. For example, I read a paper that designed a robot move people from the bed to the chair and from the bathroom to the chair. I think it is interesting to discussion. Okay.
Okay, thank you. So finally, Mr. Rosan, could you please introduce your interest?
I'm interested in question 1 because I think at present chatbots is a very popular research topic, and it plays an increasingly important role in fields such as customer service, education, and so on. So I think its practical application in the real world is very important.
Okay, thank you. Because the Professor Matsumaru is absent today, so maybe we have plenty much of time to discuss all of the questions. And maybe you can do some Q&A section for each other. So maybe we can start from the question 1. And so Mr. Rosan, could you please introduce your assignment?
Okay.
Question 1. Thank you.
So the first is the conditions required for conversation between two individuals. So for a meaningful conversation between two individuals, several key conditions must be made. So the first, there must be a shared language or communication systems. So if they speak different language and it's very difficult for them to communicate. Uh, the second is both participants need to have the ability to listen and express themselves clearly. And the third is mutual attention and willingness to engage are essential. And additionally, a common context of topics of interest can greatly enhance understanding and flow. So whether an AI robot can be a conversation partner and technical challenges to realize an AI robot. So why AI robots can be conversation partner? So modern AI chatbots and virtual agents demonstrate an impressive ability to simulate human conversation. This is made possible by several key capabilities. So the first technology is natural language understanding. AI chatbots today can interpret free-flowing user input by leveraging NLU and deep learning to detect intent, extract meaning. And the second is generative AI abilities. The third is context awareness and memory. Conversational AI agents can remember past interactions and improve personalization and consistency over multiple exchanges. The fourth is multimodal interaction. AI-powered agents can operate across text, voice, and image interface. And the last is automation and task execution. Advanced AI virtual agents integrate with robot process automation and enterprise systems, allowing them to not only talk but act. So the key technical challenges to realizing conversational AI robots is as follows. So the first is the misunderstanding the nature of AI chatbot system. The second is poor NLP lifecycle and model training. The third is unstructured conversation design. The fourth is backend integration and data access and unrealistic expectation and misalignment and data preparation and intent clarity, trust, privacy, and user control, and the organizational and internal friction, and post-launch neglect. And the last is budget overruns and cost mismanagement.
Okay, thank you. Did anyone have any question or comment about his report? So you list a lot of the challenge and also solution for it. Like you conclude all of this by your own, or where you find this kind of reference?
So I will share this. Share this link in the chat box. So all the challenges is from this page.
Okay, thank you. So yes, Mr. Chen Zhang, could you please introduce your report about the question one?
Go and explain conditions required for conversation between two individuals. Mutual willingness to engage. Both parties must be open and willing to participate in the conversation. This involves active listening and a readiness to share thoughts or emotions. Without mutual engagement, the interaction becomes one-sided, hindering effective communication. Clear and shared language or symbols. Effective conversation requires a common language or set of nonverbal cues to ensure mutual understanding. This interpretation applies when symbols or words are not shared or understood similarly by both individuals. Appropriate context and environment facilitate interaction free from excessive noise or distraction. For instance, The quiet space promotes focus, while a chaotic environment may disrupt the flow of dialogue. Cultural or social norms also influence the appropriateness of the content. Emotional and psychological safety. Participants should feel safe to express themselves without fear of judgment or retaliation. Trust and respect are essential, and they encourage honesty and vulnerability, key components of meaningful conversations. Feedback and adaptation. A successful conversation involves continuous feedback, where participants adjust their messages based on verbal or nonverbal responses. This dynamic exchange ensures clarity and keeps the dialogue relevant and productive. Discuss whether an AI robot can be a conversation partner. Ability to simulate human interaction. Modern AI such as chatbots and virtual assistants can engage in text or voice-based exchanges, providing coherent and contextually relevant responses. Advanced models like ChatGPT can mimic human-like conversation, making them suitable for casual discussions, information retrieval, or even emotional support to some extent. Lack of genuine understanding and emotion. Unlike humans, AI-like consciousness, emotions, and true comprehension, where it can analyze patterns and generate appropriate replies. It does not understand in the human sense. Emotional exchanges with AI will feel superficial, and it cannot genuinely emphasize or form personal connections. Functional usefulness. The AI excels in structured conversations, such as customer service, language practice, or education tutorial. It can provide instant, accurate information and adapt to responses based on user input. However, its inability to grasp the nouns, the social cues, or deep emotional context limits its role in complex interpersonal discussion. Ethical and psychological considerations rely on AI for companionship. This is ethical concerns, such as data privacy and emotional dependency. While some people find comfort in talking to AI, others argue that it cannot reflect human relationships, which thrive on mutual empathy and shared experience. Future potential. As AI advances, its conversational abilities will improve, ultimately blurring the line between human and machine interaction. However, unless AI achieves true sentence, it will remain a tool, useful for special purpose but not a substitute for human connection. This the technical challenges to realize an AI robot to naturally discuss with you. Real-time processing and low latency. Natural conversation requires instantaneous responses to maintain flow. Current speech recognition and dialogue systems often suffer from delays, disrupting taking and making interactions feel robotic. Achieving real-time processing will handle complex inputs. Limits a hurdle. Contextual and situational understanding. Robots may dynamically interpret the context, including user intent, environmental cues, and ongoing tasks. This involves interpreting involved data and maintaining a coherent dialogue history. Current systems with ambiguity, resolution, and adapting to shifting context, personality, and emotional intelligence. Human discussions require nouns to personality, awake focus, emphasis, and intent, or text to speech systems have improved. generative, context-aware methods which in real time and accurately interpreting user emotions from personality is still challenging. Adaptability and personalization. Robots must adapt to individual users' speech patterns, preferences, and cultural norms. This demands robust machine learning frameworks capable of real-shot learning and continuous adaptation without extensive retraining. Current systems offer lack flexibility, leading to generic interaction, common ground, and serial life. Effective discussion requires the robot to interact and align with the user's knowledge, beliefs, and perspectives. Challenges include monitoring user mental state, monitoring miscommunication, and dynamically adjusting explanations and acceptance to bridge gaps in knowledge. Multi-modal integration, seamless coordination of speech with gestures, facial expressions, and physical actions is critical for natural interaction, synchronizing these modalities in real time, especially in noisy or dynamic environments, poses significant technical and computational challenges. Robustness, open-ended dialogue, unlike task-specific chatbots, open-ended discussions require handling diverse topics, digressions, and abstract decisions. Current AI has deep comprehension and often fails to maintain coherence over extended conversations.
Okay, thank you. So among all of these challenges you mentioned, which one you think is more likely to be solved and how to be solved, how it can be solved?
I think it's real-time processing. Because nowadays the AI technology has developed a lot, so that we can interact with people more precisely, without long latencies.
Okay, you mean with the development of the hardware of some algorithm, it will be solved automatically?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Next, Mr. Johnson, could you please introduce your report about question 1?
Here's my report of question 1. Actually, toward my consideration, and it could be just just easier to comprehend that nowadays for the non-facial expression and non-movement, the ChatGPT series of language large model has already achieved that we could do the total conservation toward it. As between the conference, we get the language meanings, the turn talkings, and also the context awareness. These have already been solved by these days large language models. However, we also need some that verbal course and this part of work still could be some difficulties about the conversation robot. However, I suggest a definitely new way to solve this problem. As the large language models could generate the descriptions of the reply and also could extract that the replies what the sentence of the replies, just to make them to compare with the existing sentences with the description of the existing sentence and the emotional expressions in the novels. We could definitely find which expressions could be as the fittest the expression toward this word, so that the AI could get the tongue, get the facial expressions, get these things. And I think for the chat robot, nowadays technique has already solved every problem. However, we didn't do that. We didn't do that just because we think it's too hard. The real challenge is psychologically, not technically. We assume conversation is too human to model, but in truth, it can be decomposed into analysable behavior and mapped on data-driven outputs.
Okay, thank you. So, Mr. Luo-san, could you please give some comment on his report?
So can you share your reference source?
Okay. For which part?
So I just see that your reference source, I think it's a bit old.
Sure, it is definitely old because the reference part is just for the descriptions of toward the informations. It I didn't take care about I didn't really take care about what is nowadays, because I think nowadays have already been explained. So here.
Because I think the chatbot is changing very fast.
Sure, this is the reference. My reference part is definitely just for what is the components of the conversation. I didn't reference by which have been solved these days. This is a traditional social psychological article that here. So this is just a description based on psychological, not based on computer science.
Oh, okay, I know. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your report. So maybe we can move to the next question. The Guo-san is not here for the question. So next, Mr. Chen-san, could you please introduce your assignment about question 2?
Family care robots, particularly care process robots, are designed to address the challenges of social isolation and limited mobility among older adults in care settings. Their primary functions and job contents include facilitating social connection, remote
Sorry, could you please turn on your microphone? Thank you.
remote communications, telepresence robots enable real-time video calls between older adults and their family members or friends, providing a sense of physical presence. Social engagement. They promote socialization by allowing remote participation in activities, reducing loneliness and depression. Supporting care coordination, family involvement. Robots help family members engage in care planning by observing the residents' core condition and communicating with staff. staff assistants. They can relay information between caregivers and families, reducing the need for in-person visits, enhancing mobility and independence. Navigation equipped with wheels. Robots move autonomously or via remote control, allowing bedridden or mobility impaired residents to explore their environment. Personalized interaction. Some robots adapt to users' needs, such as adjustable height for wheelchair users or simplified controls for those with cognitive impairments, addressing practical barriers. Ease of use. Robots minimizing the need for technical skills among older adults, as family members or staff often operate them. Training and adaptation. They require tailored training for residents, staff, and families to ensure effective use, overcoming challenges, technical issues, poor internet connectivity, audio problems, and hardware malfunctions are common barriers. Privacy concerns. Robots must balance functionality with privacy. Future directions. Long-term integration. Research highlights the need for sustainable implement strategies, including leadership, support, and cost-effectiveness analysis. Safety and ethics. Guidelines are needed to address safety and ethical dilemmas. Examine measures to make a weak robot useful and beneficial for the elderly. Focus on non-physical assistance tasks. Weak robots can be designed to perform non-physical tasks, such as medical reminders, health monitoring, and scheduling appointments. These functions do not require high physical power, but significantly improve the quality of life for the elderly by ensuring timely care and reducing cognitive load. For example, robots like Marble and Stevie provide social interaction and reminders, demonstrating that low-power robots can still offer substantial benefits. Emotional and social interaction. Companion robots like Pero and Jibo, which are designed for emotional support, show that weak robots can mitigate loneliness and improve mental health among the elderly. These robots use voice interaction, tactile feedback, and simple movements to engage users, proving that emotional and social benefits do not depend on physical strength. Integration with smart home systems. By connecting weak robots to smart home networks, they can act as intermediaries to control lights, thermostats, and other IoT devices. This allows elderly users to manage their environment effortlessly. The Giraffe Plus project exemplifies how sensor networks and robots cooperate to provide ambient assisted living without requiring high physical output. Lightweight and safe physical assistance. Even with limited power, robots can assist with lightweight tasks such as fetching small items or guiding movements during rehabilitation. For instance, the LIMS ambidex robots use tandem-driven technology to provide safe, low-force assistance, ensuring usability for frail elderly individuals without risking harm. User-centered design and acceptability. Weak robots can be optimized for acceptability by focusing on intuitive interface, culturally appropriate designs, and personalized interactions. Studies indicate that elderly users prefer robots with pet-like or human-like features, which can be achieved without high power. Enhancing usability and reducing complexity can make weak robots more appealing and practical. Collaboration with other devices. Weak robots can function as part of a large system, working alongside strong robots or human caregiver. For example, a weak robot might monitor vital signals, signs, while a stronger robot handles physical tasks, ensuring comprehensive care through teamwork.
Okay, thank you. If there anyone have any question for him? Now, so next, Mr. Johnson, could you please introduce your report?
Okay.
By the way, Mr. Guozhang, could you please turn on your microphone for a little bit? Because there. Yes, thank you.
Here is the second part of my second question. The first, the job of cadence of elder care robots, monitoring of safety. Duty claims that the elder care robot often patrols the home defectful and identified behavior to ensure safety. The emotional support companion robots like parent and able help reduce loneliness and anxiety. Broadband reports that pet-tap robots significantly improve emotional well-being. Cognitive assistance robots assist with reminder, medication schedules, and daily routines as the acting as the external memory aids. Communication, elder user can connect it to family or caregivers via voice-activated calls or video interfaces. Light physical tasks. Robots like PR2 performs minor tasks just like delivering small objects. Their limited strength is a deliberate design to avoid injury risks, making a weak robot useful thought to a safety-oriented design. The safety advantages, low power output minimize the risk of accident. Trust and acceptance is emphasized that the robots perceived as soft and harmless are more likely to be accepted by elders. Human-centered care. Yamazaki argues that the dementia therapy, gentle behavior is more important than functionally. A soft passive presence fosters emotional comfort. Function via delegation. Weak robots can observe a lot and coordinate without acting as primary agents of physical force, enabled to collaborate with the cave sceneries. Weak case as a design value. Robots like Nikobo demonstrate the emotional presence and minimal interaction can still carry meaningful relationships, precisely because they pose no threat. There are two interesting things that we could observe in the real life. Firstly, the elders are usually think they are strong and strong than they actually being, and they usually being rigid and obstacle when they doing the choices. So if a robot that gives a too powerful physical output, it may make the elders think it's not safe enough. This is definitely working on my grandmother's home. Yeah, she used a cleaning boat, and however, that cleaning boat moves a little bit too fast in her home, and she wonders that it would be some definitely danger when she walk around. So she stopped using that boat. The secondly is that it's also the observation toward my grandmother's. She even could not accept any of the assistant labors, the real human to her home to take care of her, except the part the native except for her child or deep friend, did she didn't trust the strangers, and just because the teenage because the more younger strangers is more powerful, it makes threat toward her. So even for the robots, which is much more strong and fast, it would make the emotional pressure toward the elders. And actually, another thing is also a need to be accepted that the elders doesn't need some doesn't the elders actually need more cooperation and partner, not the regulations or just the non-emotional health. So they prefer that so that is why that for the high level the care usually use usually employ women's to do the health care because to be compare with the men's, the elders will regard women's are more fragile, more weak, and they won't let them obey. They won't let the elders obey their will. This is a definitely emotional observation toward the existed life. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. So, actually, I'm just wondering what kind of support are expected of this kind of weak robot, like for your grandmother's case, what kind of support of this kind of weak robot are expected? If she don't need a robot with strong strength, with the strong power, what kind of support are expected from this kind of robot? Because you didn't mention it in your report.
Because for my actual observation, she rejected all of the robots, so I could not give some suggest that what is she actually accepted.
Just in your imagine, maybe for more common case, what kind of
If for the imaginations, I think she would actually accept a soft slow robot that would do some home core some horse core that do some household, have the bright colors and easily to be observed. It have a soft outlook and have actually big volume that makes her actually safe. That's a big slow item that's moving in her home.
Okay, thank you. I come back and move on to the next. Mr. Guo-san, could you please introduce your report about the question 2?
Hmm.
Could you please turn on your microphone?
Here is my answer of the question to explore and explain job contents of elder care robots. Let's examine methods to make a weak robot useful and beneficial for the elder. The elder care robot typically performs the following roles. Firstly is the physical assistance. It means that the robot firstly needs to the mobility aid. The robot needs to support the elders with standing, walking, sitting, or transferring. And secondly is the activity of daily living support. It means that the robot needs to help the elders with eating, toileting, bathing, such as robotic feeding arms, shower assist, shower assist devices, or toilet cleaning robots. And secondly is monitoring safety. It means that the healthy and the virtual sim monitoring using the sensors to track heart rate, respiration, posture, and issue alerts. And after that is the fall prevention. It means that the mobile robot's arms providing support at the point of prevent the elders from falling. And 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 the thirdly is the social phy- physiological support. It means that the companion robots and pet robots are social humanoids that reduce lo- loneliness, improve mood, and encourage engagement. For example, the telepresence robots enabling remote communication with family, caregivers, who support video calls. We support the video calls. And firstly is the rehabilitation on priority care. This means that the devices supporting work or muscle health. System like the HOPO that assist in recurring healthy tasks and recreational activities. And finally is the routine household tasks. Uh, it means that the robot need to assisting with chores like cooking, cleaning, delivering items within the home. And I found a paper. It is the main picture. It is a picture from the paper. Me briefly shows the robots of the paper. And this paper, this robot can through the arm help the elders uh, move from move from the bed and get out from the bathroom. And as we can see the bed assistance sequence types. uh, the elders first get out from the bed and the head cut the robots. Then with the help of the robots, the elder can stand up and move. Okay. Mm, yes.
Thank you. But this kind of robot seems to need a strong power output to do this kind of support. But maybe sorry, we cannot hear you. You didn't turn on your microphone. Yep.
Okay. I can share the link to the chat box. Okay. This robot, maybe it need a lot of power. Because, because it actually uses the machine arm. But I think the power requirement is not very large because for the movement it actually have the wheels and it don't need the energy for the movement. It is pushed by the user. So I think the energy requirement is not very large.
Yes, okay, thank you. And next, Mr. Lo-san, could you please introduce your report?
Oh, yes. So the first is the job contents of elderly care robots. So the first is emotional companionship and mood regulation. So social robots like Paro, a robotic baby seal, or Ren, a humanoid companion, are designed primarily to reduce loneliness, anxiety, and agitation in elderly users. Emotional smoothing, for instance, Paro has been successfully used in emergency rooms to calm aggressive patients, enabling staff to carry out medical tasks without physical restraint. End-of-life comfort, Paro provides companionship to a dying man in a nursing home, offering emotional presence and in his final moments. Cognitive stimulation and social engagement. Many elderly care robots engage users through conversation, games, and reminders, even with limited physical capability. Third is communication and behavioral intervention. Robots also help manage challenging behavior through non-threatening, patient-centered interaction. In case of patient education, robots have been used to redirect attention away from confrontation and into calm interaction, a passive but effective safety intervention. So routine reminders and supportive guidance. Even weak robots can perform low-power, non-contact assistance, such as medication, reminders, daily schedule announcements, promoting users to hydrate, eat, or engage in social activities. So how to make weak robots useful and beneficial? So even robots with limited or no physical strength can still play impact for roles if their design leverage cognitive, emotional, and interactional strengths. Several strategies can help maximize their utility. So design for social interaction over physical output, focus on expressive design, softer texture, animated faces, or lifelike eye movements can elicit emotional bonding even from low-powered robots. To interact or integrate with human workflows, use robots to fill communication or emotion no gaps, not replace humans. Allow weak robots to assist in intake or interviews, group therapy, or transitional modes like hospital admission, discharge, where human attention may be overstretched. Support cares, not replace them. Use robots to offload repetitive or low-skill tasks, such as reminding residents of the time or leading group games, giving cares more time for hands-on care. In phases, cognitive and emotional sensing, implement voice recognition, emotion detection, or simple responsive dialogue, making the robot feel present without the need for strength. Robots like Ren and Chabit rely on such interaction rather than physical assistance or to foster connection, create meaningful rituals, allocate specific time slots for robots use 30-minute sessions per resident, promoting structured engagement even with minimal capability. create personally meaningful routines such as robots in initiating birthday wishes, reminding of family visits, or starting daily music therapy. That's all.
Okay, thank you. But actually, when you are old, what kind of robot you are expecting? The weak one or with strong support? I just imagining. It's not a matter of your before. Like what kind of robot you are expecting when you are old?
So, the robots, like a cat, and will reminding many things. To have lunch, to do some exercise. Just like a real pet. Like a real pet cat, but it can speak.
Okay. So actually, most of you are interested in this question. If there are anyone have any question about others report or any comment, so you're good enough with this part. Oh, okay. Maybe we should move to next question about the question 3, the pet robot. Mr. Zhang-san, could you please introduce your report?
Here it is. The pet robot. Wait,
Sorry, could you please turn on your microphone? And Mr. Guo-san, could you please turn off?
That is why I need the others to wait me a while. First, like the key points when designing pet robot. Firstly, the emotional binding. The primary goal is not utility but attachment. Pet robot must simulate warmth, attention, and dependence to build a believable relationship. Broadband notes that emotional realism, not functional realism, drives user acceptance. Behavior over preference. While animal-like features help initial engagement, subtle and expression behavior are more important for long-term bonding. Diffie claims that the motion patterns, eye contact, and response time evoke deeper affected response than fur or shape alone. The resemblance to real animals. Full realism is not always necessary. Studies on parrot and eyeball shows that stylized abstraction forms can be just as effective or even more comforting by avoiding the uncanny valley. The aftercare and lifespan, the commercially available pet robot like eyeball EIS 1000 often requires 8-based updates server support, and physical maintenance. The product lifetime may be limited not by hardware, but the cloud service on discontinuous parts. Yamazaki warns that without proper aftercare design, robot deaths can feel more abrupt and unresolved than animal deaths. Actually, for the robot deaths, I also give some own thinking at the second part. The ritual and grief. Robots have inspired real funeral in Japan. And these highlights how human projects organize the metaverse onto robots and expect a similar emotional closure. The expecting of the goodbye should be considered in design. Actually, the Japan has a strict law and widely spread the thinking about the pet, so that this could be a typical characteristic to build a culture that to make a pet means more important in a country. And however, I give some more uncomfortable truths. Perhaps we will never be truthfully satisfied with robot pets, not because they are not realistic enough, but because they remind us a deeper truth. We do not merely love our pet for what they do, we love them for what they suffer. pet age, weaken, and die. This shared vulnerability creates a space for compassion. In contrast, robots are powerful. They do not die unless we let them. The robots update, rejuvenate, and therein lies a subtle betrayal. The robots that never dies denies us the grief that makes love feel real. Over time, we may grow to resent this, not consciously but emotionally, a quiet jealous of their difference to the mortality. The robots become not a companion but an immortal mirror that reflects that make me feel cold. To close this distance, designer must consider more than just the form or function. They must ask, can a machine learn affection by revealing of its own fragility? That is why the upward that says about that robot deaths can feel more abrupt and unresolved than animal deaths because the animal's deaths have already been accepted because we human also dies. We could forecast their deaths, their week. However, the robot won't. The Yesterday it would be just do everything well, and the next day when the cloud service is closed, it dies. So this could be definitely give much more emotional impact. And if you set the cloud service at your own home, you would find that how the pet is controlled. So you would also get suffered by the robots that um, even you could only think it immortal. That is definitely truth that we people why we people doesn't think the robot is same as us. I think one part of the word is the immortality.
Okay, thank you. Like, what about if a pet robot have a local server? So do you think it can be immortal to reduce the impact of death?
If a robot have a local server, it could be more strong because definitely the pet everything is controlled on your computer. You turn on the computer, run a program, and the pet would definitely run as your computer alive. When the pet gets stopped, you just replaced something, and the pet gets alive again. And we would be envy and jealous about how the robot's pet's life can be so strong. We would die, but they wouldn't even just because we could simply to repair them. There could be a definitely jealous, just like somebody who raised up the big birds as the pet, just like Chujio that English the English ruler that England ruler that the British ruler Churchill that who raised up a big bird that lives more than 90 years long over his lifespan, and this have already affected that this have already caused affected toward their family that the pet even live longer than the people.
Oh, okay, very interesting. Thank you very much. Next, Mr. Guo-san, could you please introduce your report? Sorry, could you please turn on your microphone?
Sorry. Other questions will discuss key points when designing pet robots. We are considering how much resemblance to real animals eventually and the aftercare and the product lifetime for commercially purchasable pet robots. Firstly, the key points in designing pet robots. Firstly, I think uh, is the degree of likeness to real animals. Uh, Realistic appearance enhance emotion bonding and trust through familiar cues like protector and lifelike behaviors. Mod Moderate abstraction, such as pets with simplified features, can still evoke strong emotional responses while reducing design complexity. And the minimalist designs, relying on movement patterns or light sound feedback leverage human social cognition to form connections without resembling real animals. It is three levels of the likeness to the real animals. And secondly is the emotional bonding attachment framework. Building attachment involves stages. Firstly, is the initial introduction. Secondly, is the short-term interaction, and finally, is the long-term relationship formation. Design should accommodate nurturing behaviors, familiarity, and subtle behavioral changes over time. And the second is interactive expressiveness and responsiveness. Firstly, the the essential components include touch, sound, light, and motion sensors. Had to expressive outputs like purring tail waves and head turns. Behavior control architectures may use modular AI, natural model or behavior-based systems, to adapt to user preferences and avoid repetitive errors. And finally, is the physical embodiment consideration. Physical form supports user attachment, such as, for example, hunting, petting, hugging, and influences social perception. Embodiment matters significantly. Use of robotics complement materials, improve safety, comfort, and tactile realism. And secondly is the aftercare product lifetime of commercial pet robots. The first point is the durability, maintenance, cleanability, and and the second point is the middle components replaceable. And the second point is the software support updates. And the first point is the longevity and the obsolescence. And the fifth point is the packages and the infection control. And it means that a frequent use in care homes involves disinfection cycles. Some robots maintain low microbial count. Others need rigorous cleaning the routines. And finally, it is ethical um, edu- education considerations. It is important to set clear expectations. Robots are tools of competition, companionship and not really pets. Training caregivers to supervise interactions and response to user attachment, promote safe, healthy, and relationships. Okay, this is my answer. 以上的是。
Oh, thank you. Could you please go back to the degree of likeness? Could you please show the reference source about it and why
Okay.
these 3 degree are divided? Why it is divided into these 3 degree? Could you explain why?
When there have the 3 degrees, it is basically depend on the likeness to the real animals. The mo the most the highest level means that it almost looks like the real animals. For example, looks like a dog, and the middle level means that it may be like a cartoon dog. The pet robot maybe don't like the real dog, but like a cartoon dog. It can also wolf and some movement like the real dogs, but the appearance is more like the cartoon dog, for example. And the meanest level means that the robot almost don't look like an animal, just have some sound or action like the animals. For example, push a button and it can make the sound of the dog like the dog wolf. Okay, yeah, it is the difference between the 3 levels. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Mm.
Just a small suggestion. If you have find some category, maybe you can make a table to list of their feature to compare with each other. Maybe it's more it might be easier for others to understand.
Okay,
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
And yes, thank you.
Yes.
Next, Mr. Luo, could you please introduce? Yes. Could you please introduce the report?
Okay. So I find a paper. So they conducted a qualitative user-centered study involving interaction between care home resident and various companion robot pets, followed by a focus group with resident staff and family members to explore design preference and requirements. So the first is a realistic resemblance to familiar animals. So high resemblance to real domestic pets such as cats or dogs is essential. So participants strongly preferred robots that embody the familiar animals as they found them more comforting and relatable. So in contrast, unfamiliar design like seals, the example is parrot or mythical animals were often viewed as toy-like, childish, or inappropriate for adult users, particularly in dementia care settings. Visual realism, such as soft fur, expressive eyes, and lifelike movements, significantly increase the emotional engagement. So the second is user-centered design. Design must be informed directly by the preferences of end users, not just developers. The study reviewed a mismatch between what developers thought users wanted and what users actually preferred. So the third is interactivity and expressiveness. So simple but responsive behaviors such as purring, head turning, and subtle movements or valued more than complex or overly intelligent features. So the fourth is aftercare and hygiene. Removable, washable fur covers were frequently requested to ensure hygiene in communal care settings. And the last is product lifetime and practicality. The robot size and weight should be appropriate for older adults, especially those with limited strength. Lap-sized and lightweight designs or preferred devices need to be robust enough for repeatedly daily use and designed with long-term usability in mind, not just novelty. That's all.
Okay, thank you. It seems there are a lot of points in common in your description in this pet robot with the elderly care robot. There seems to have a lot of points in common. How do you think about the key difference about these two kinds of robot?
The key difference between the software robot and the paid robot, uh, uh,
In the question two, you also describe a lot of points, like also the fur and also some other point is very similar with the pet robot. How do you think? What's the difference between these two robots when designing?
I think the paid robots they are emphasized in the user's emotional help, so help the users to feel comfort and calm down and relatable. And but the soft robots they will have an another usability and such as reminding them something or have them do something.
Okay, thank you. Next, Mr. Chen-san, could you please introduce your report?
Discuss key points when designing pet robots, user needs and preferences. Understanding the target audience is crucial. Pet robots may be designed for companionship, therapy, or entertainment. For instance, elderly users might prefer low-maintenance robotic pets with claiming interactions, while children may enjoy more playful and responsive features. Market research helps tailor the robot's behavior and appearance to user demographics. Realistic and appealing design. A pet robot's appearance and movements should evoke emotional connections. This involves lifelike fur textures, expressive eyes, and natural gestures. However, designers must balance realism with practicality. Overly complex designs can increase costs and maintenance difficulties. Interactive and responsive behavior. Advanced AI and sensors enable pet robots to respond to touch, voice, and environmental cues. Machine learning can improve adaptability, allowing the robot to learn user preference over time. Natural language processing can enhance conversational abilities for deeper engagement. Durability and safety. Pet robots should withstand regular use, especially if designed for children.
materials must be non-toxic and sturdy. Additionally, safety features like autonomic shut-off mechanisms prevent overheating or battery issues. Affordability and maintenance cost-effectiveness is vital for widespread adoption. Designers should optimize production costs without compromising quality. Easy maintenance, such as replaceable parts or self-charging capabilities, improves longevity and user satisfaction. Ethical and social considerations. Designers must address concerns like over-reliance on robot pets for emotional support or data privacy issues. If the robot collects user information, transparent design ethics helps build trust. Consider how much resemblance to real animals is necessary. Anthropomorphism and visual appeal. Incorporating human-like and animal-like features, such as expressive eyes and body language, enhances relatability. However, excessive realism may trigger the uncanny valley effect, making the robot seem eerie. Designers should aim for a balance, ensuring the robot appears friendly and approachable without crossing into unsettling territory. Tactile feedback. The materials and textures used in robot pets significantly influence user interaction. Soft, warm materials, like those in the robotic seal, encourage physical touch and emotional bonding. The tactile experience should mimic real animals to create comfort and familiarity. Movement and behavior. Lifelike movements, such as tail wagging or responsive gestures, make robot pets feel more engaging. However, overly complex behaviors may confuse users or seem unnatural. Designers should prioritize intuitive and predictable actions to maintain a sense of realism without overwhelming users. Personalization, allowing customization of appearance or behavior strengthens the bond between users and robot pets. Features like customizable colors or programmable responses enable users to create a unique companion tailored to their preferences. Emotional expression, effective communication through sounds, lights, or movements helps convey the robot's emotions, fostering empathy. For example, Luna used animated expressions to simulate happiness or curiosity, making interaction more meaningful. Consider
Sorry, the time is limited, so thank you for attending today. We have